My name is Job. I'm an old man now. And I want you to take a journey with me for just a few minutes. Thank y'all for stopping by my house. I don't want you to talk, I want you to listen. For those who didn't hear me all the way in the back, my name is Job, spelled J-O-B, like the thing some of y'all nephews haven't gotten yet. Yeah, I'm over 100 years old now, and I got a lot I want to share. You know, I've been singing a lot of songs, but some of y'all singing and haven't yet met him. See, when I sing because I've seen him. I've seen him in ways you never have. And if you'll just listen to me for a few minutes, I'm here to encourage you because I heard some of y'all are going through a storm. I know a thing or two about storms. I think my son's supposed to be coming by. He looks a lot like that young boy y'all know. What's that boy's name? Travis Green from Forward City Church in Columbia, South Carolina. But it's not him, it's my son. He just looked like that boy. Hey, son.
Hey, Dad, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
You been eating good, Dad?
Yeah. I see you got my hairline, so. I told one of my helpers to get a message to you because I wanted to talk to you. You've seen this around the house your whole life, huh?
You always keep that basket.
Yes, I do.
Trying to figure out what's in that basket that's so valuable. You're always keeping your basket, man.
I'm glad you asked. I didn't tell you. And I didn't tell any of your other 6 brothers or your 3 sisters. But I love all 10 of y'all. But y'all not the only 10 kids. Y'all not the only kids I had. I had kids before y'all. Matter of fact, I had 7 other sons and 3 other daughters. Me and your mama never talked about it, not with y'all. But today I'm gonna tell you a story, and I'm gonna show you something. Long time ago, I was minding my own business. I was a successful businessman. I did right by my wife, had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And you know, they were the turn-up folk. You know, we, the wealthiest people in all the East. And I would always pray. I would always pray for them because a couple of your brothers didn't want to act right. They liked to turn up, and your sisters used to dance and act a fool and think later they're going to call it twerking. I don't know, but you know. But I would pray for them, and I'd sacrifice just in case they sinned against God in their heart. What I didn't know was while I was serving the Most High and praying over my kids, come to find out I was the topic of a cosmic conversation. One day, all the things that I thought about in my mind showed up in my face. One day I was minding my own business, and all of a sudden I got some bad news. Have you ever been minding your own business and someday got bad news? I'm trying to help y'all in here. Have you ever been minding your business and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you got a phone call that changed everything? You had a text that changed everything. Something wasn't right. You felt it, but you didn't know what it was. Anybody ever been there? You sensed it. You knew something was off, and all of a sudden, then you get the information. It's like your spirit knew before your body knew. That's called breaking the fourth wall. And I sat there, and I got one of my servants said, hey, all your camels, all your cattle, some raiders came down, took them and killed all your servants. I'm the only one left. While he was talking, somebody else came and brought me some more bad news. From every angle, bad news. What do you do when from every angle you get bad news? What do you do when the report comes back negative? What do you do when life makes no sense? What do you do when pain shows up? What do you do when you were minding your business, living your life, and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose? And then one day, while all this was happening, somebody else came and said, sir, while all your kids were at the oldest boy's house, a whirlwind, a storm, a whirlwind, a circular storm, kind of like a hurricane. They're not going with me. They don't know what's happening right now. They're trying to figure it out because a whirlwind came and hit the four corners of the house, and all your kids are gone. They dead. A pastor preaching in Anderson, Alabama, minded his business on a Friday morning, gave his daughter breakfast, cereal, toast, orange juice, kissed her goodbye, said, I'll see you later. And in one moment, she was gone. Driving home yesterday, and in one moment, my friend was gone. And all of those things happened at one time. I had 3 daughters. These were their fans. It's all I have left. And I had 7 sons. One of them had bad breath. Actually, 2 of them had bad breath. One of them was a poet, and another one was a songwriter. He never finished this song. It says, all things are working for my good. He's
intentional?
Why don't you finish that?
Never failing.
Why don't you take this pen and you keep writing while I'm talking, because I had to realize that all things are working for my good, and he's intentional, never failing. I want you to keep writing. And this was one of your brother's water bottles, and that's all I had left, and this was one of your brother's toys. And so you got, what you got under there? You got 4 things, 2 on the ground. I have 1 more. This was your other brother's pen for art. 10 things, 1 from each of my children. That's all I had. I lost it all. In one moment, I went from having a legacy to living a curse. And I had a choice to make. And in the middle of all of that, you know what I did? I tore my robe, son, and I said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I did the strange thing when I lost it all, because somehow I knew that he was going to make a way. When it looked as if it was over, won't you hum a little bit of that song that I heard you singing the other day? Just a little something, would you?
You move mountains, you cause walls to fall with your power. You perform miracles, there is nothing that's impossible. And we're standing here only because you made a way.
You made a way.
When our backs were against the wall, and it looked as if it was over, you made a way. And we're standing here only because you made. Don't know how, but you did it. You made a way. Don't know how, but you did it. Made a way. Don't know how, but you did it. Stepped in and made a way. Don't know how, but you did it. Made a way.
You know, son, I would hear you sing that song and I'd have tears in my eyes, because that song blesses me. You know, sometimes I scratch my skin, because after all that broke loose and I lost my kids and all my money, your mama, she said, you need to curse God and die. Because sometimes people around you see you going through hell and think God left, not knowing that all the hell is because God pointed you out. I need somebody to lift up a shout if you know that sometimes the hell you're going through is because God pointed at you, not turned against you. I know it doesn't make sense, because we have a picture of God that there is no pain if he favors you. But I found out, son, that he was talking to the adversary about me. And he said, have you considered my servant Job? I didn't know that there was a wager that I would deny God if the devil took everything from me. If my loved one went away without my permission. If my daughter went away without my permission. If the job went away without my permission. If everything was gone. The devil said, I bet you he'll curse you to your face. And I lifted my hands. You know what that devil did, son? He went right back up to God, and God said, I told you. Some of y'all are in the midst of an I told you. You didn't know that you holding on to your faith in the middle of your trial is God telling the devil, I told you. I told you I could trust her. I told you I could trust him. I told you they wouldn't deny me. I told you they'd still lift their hands. I told you they'd still worship. I told you. If there's anybody in here that can still worship even though it made no sense, give God an I told you praise. Give him an I told you praise. Son, you see that scar right there? Looks pretty bad. But I had these all over my body. I had sores. I took a piece of pottery and I would scrape. Everybody left me. Your mama was gonna leave me, but she had nowhere to go. You know where the boils came from is because God said, I told you he wouldn't deny me. The devil said, yeah, you took all his stuff. Maybe he's selfish, but if you put your hand on him, he'll curse you to your face. And you thought the cancer was a punishment. It's a test to see if you could worship God in spite of the diagnosis. I know about the arthritis and the glaucoma and the issues with your kidneys and your liver. I know about the sickle cell. Your loved one is hurting and always in pain. And you saying, God, why? And you don't realize that God is saying every time you worship, in spite of what you feel, in spite of what you see, you are giving the devil less ground because he is counting on you to give up. And every time you worship in spite of it, you make God greater than your problem, greater than your pain, greater than your situation. And this is the test. Can you worship not only when things go wrong, but when it goes wrong with you, not with people around you, but when you're in pain, when you can't see, when you don't know which way is up. And son, I was sitting on the ground and I said, it don't get no worse than this. I had sores on the bottom of my feet. And everybody thought I was cursed. There are people who stepped away from you in your trial, and God wanted them to leave because they don't know that the double portion comes on the other side. And God wanted the people that weren't really with you or for you to leave now. And so he let trial come to differentiate who was with you and who wasn't. Because I've learned, son, the people you can count on are the ones that run towards you in your trial, not the ones who run away. And I was scratching. You know, your uncles came over, Eliphaz and Bildad, and they came over with the other boy, and 3 of them, and they talked my ear off, told me, you must have done something wrong. That's why you're going through this. You must have done something wrong. That's why you lost your loved one, or they did something wrong. And they don't know that I did nothing wrong. In fact, I had done everything right. And that's how I got God's attention. And sometimes you go through trials, not because you did something wrong, but because you're doing something right. This is the first time I took the things that your brothers and sisters had and threw them. And I want you to look in there. It's not a lot in there. You know what that is? These are leftovers. What do you have when God takes everything away? They don't know what to do with this sermon because they're not sure how to take it. If he took the job, if he took the car, if he took your name, if he let them lie on you, if it looks like he took his hand off, if he took it all, if he took your notoriety, if he took your status, if he took your savings account, is he still God? What God wanted to show a devil is that if he took everything, I'd still give him my leftovers. Pastor Q, they didn't catch it. God's not looking for your substance. He wants to know, can you trust him with your leftovers? You took everything. All I got is an offering envelope on faith that one day I'll be able to fill it out. I got a mint because your word says, taste and see that the Lord is good. I got a pearl because this is a pearl of great price. I done been through too much hell to let anybody take my testimony. Then I got extra gum for the people that I share with, because you overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony. So since I tasted him, I want other people to taste him as well. Then for the people that are thirsty, I got a bottle of water. This is living water. And all I got left is a little bit of worship. I wish I had a church on the left-hand side and watching online. God wanted my whole basket empty to see if I would offer him what I had left. And all I got is a I bless you. You are worthy. I don't have a check. I don't have any money. You took everything away, but you're still God. You're still good. I'm empty on the inside, but I lay it at your feet and I bless your name right now. And I declare that if you take it all away, I will still lift my hands and give you glory. And I bless you. And I don't understand, but I love you. And this makes no sense, but I worship you. And I don't know why you took my kids, or why you took my wife, or why you took my husband, or why you took my job, or why my health is failing, but you are still good. Outside the house, that little garden I keep, I got 10 bushes. I keep them out there, each one to remind me that he's still good. Stop looking at your pain as a tragedy of God's anger and look back and say it's an opportunity for me to trust him in the midst of the storm and say he's still good. Don't define your life by your losses. Define your life by the God who covered you through it all. You still have your right mind. You know, I should have lost my mind. They came with a straitjacket, but I said I don't need it because I've got a garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Is there anybody that worshiped through the storm? You're probably not going to believe this, son. But you and your 6 brothers and your 3 sisters, y'all are God repaying me. So actually, I've had 20 kids. You only see 10, but I got double. And I'm here to prophesy that for everything you lost, God's going to restore double to you, declares the Lord. Return to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope, and I will restore double to you, declares the Lord. I saw God with these old eyes, and I was hurting, and I said, it would have been better if I had not even been born. And he showed up in a whirlwind. There's that word again. Hurricanes are circular, but God is the whirlwind. He can tell that storm to leave now. And I prophesied that Dorian is leaving the coast right now. I declare that it will not touch land in the name of Jesus. The eye of the storm will stay in the sea. Will anybody believe God with me? He said, who is this that darkens counsel without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man, and I will ask you some questions. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Where were you? He said, have the gates of Hades been revealed to you? Does lightning report to you and say, here I am? Do you know the treasury of hell that I have stored up for times of war? Were you there when I told the sea, here is where your proud waves must halt, this far and no further? The only reason the sea stays in its place is because God told it to. So, son, you've always been the one that listened to me ramble. But I'm not long for the earth. And since you're my oldest living boy, I want to confer on you a double portion. Tell you that everything I've ever done, you'll do twice as much. You're going to change the world. Them songs you've been writing, the world's going to sing them. One day the Lord's going to bless you with a beautiful wife. He's going to give you some sons, and they're going to keep the legacy going. When the Lord was talking to me, I asked him why I went through all I went through. He never answered. You may not get an answer on this side, but can you trust him if you never find out why? But as he left, he gave me a glimpse. He said, all the pain of humanity, I'm going to pay for it at one time with one man, my only begotten son. Matter of fact, son, why don't you get your little pen and paper real quick? He showed me a glimpse. He showed me this man, he was on some wood, and he was on top of a ridge, almost like a hill. The hill. Like he was on a hill. It's so funny. The God that I serve is the God I pass down to you. And the only thing I want you to carry with you is your worship. Because if everything else leaves, nothing can take your worship.